Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. It's Kaylan Alex. If you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe. And if you're returning, thank you so much for tuning in. So guys, I feel like the look that we're giving today is very much so 90s. I don't know if it's like the earrings and the jacket combination with the hair. I don't know, all of it is giving me 90s, but that's where we at with it. This video is gonna be my new and improved first luxury purchase recommendations. So I've done, of course, videos like this. I still stand true to those items that I recommended, but I wanted to give you guys a fresh list of things that I feel like are worth taking a look at when it comes to your first luxury purchase. I have gotten quite a few questions about this lately, so I figured I'd just, pop in with the full video and give you guys my honest opinions and recommendations on the topic. So let's get started. First and foremost, I'm gonna just give you guys a list of things or like a little checklist of things to consider when you're making your first purchase, because it can be a lot. Number one, obviously you are putting your money into something that you want to get a lot of wear, and the cost per wear needs to be there. This list kind of stays the same whether it's your first, second, third, 99, whatever I am making a purchase. I go through these checklists. I go through this checklist to make sure that this is worth my while. So number one, ask yourself, or I ask myself, is this a classic? Now by classic, I mean something that is true to the brand, something that is timeless, that's gonna last forever. It's been around, maybe the style or the bag or whatever it is, it's been around for years and years and years, and it's gonna be around for many, many years to come. Think of it like the signature of whatever brand or whatever item that you're looking to get. It is the signature of that moment. That's going to be really important, especially when you're talking about cost per wear and the longevity of the item. You want to get something that's going to last, that's past the test of time. Next component that kind of like goes hand in hand with the classic, is it versatile? Usually classics are versatile. Versatile meaning they can be worn with various outfits, a variety of different looks. It's a day to night, day to day kind of thing. You can really wear it whenever you want, and it's going to make sense. So you want something that you can get a lot of wear out of, because the last thing you want to do is spend your money on something that can only go good with a certain outfit or a certain time of day or a certain event, and then you don't really get to use it as much, and it's kind of like, unless you're just a collector of the item, it really doesn't make sense. Next thing is, how does it fit in your personal style? I always recommend people shop for things that fit their personal style. A lot of people do this. They purchase things that is more popular or what they see a lot of other people saying that they should get versus what actually fits in their closet. If you're a person who prefers to wear a lot of color, you're not really into the neutrals, the solid blacks, I would not recommend getting like just a neutral bag. Now, of course, a neutral bag can go with anything, but if you know that you can get more wear out of a bag that is maybe in a particular color that you prefer to wear, get it. Now, some people may not agree with that advice. I'm all about making the suggestion that's going to work with what you already have. I don't really believe in suggesting a person purchase something that they will have to find something to go with that item. Now, of course, I do that. A lot of people do that. I happen to like to collect things, so I will see a piece that I absolutely love, and if I don't have something, I will get something to match it. But if you're making your first luxury purchase, I wouldn't advise to do that, because you're kind of limited on what you can do with the item. Unless it's just like an item you have to have. It's a special limited edition item. Like, just get what works for you in your closet, period. Next thing I have on my little checklist is lifestyle. How well does it fit in your everyday lifestyle? If you're a person who's usually on the go and you need something quick and easy to access, I would really not suggest a little mini bag. You know what I mean? Like, unless you don't mind carrying several bags, it's really no point because it doesn't fit in your lifestyle. Now, this part can get a little tricky because in my opinion, I do not recommend a tote as a first luxury handbag, and I'll get into that very briefly. Maybe we'll discuss it in another video. But the reason being is because I feel like totes are so specific. It's really not something that you can wear at night or to a concert or to somewhere, to dinner or something like that. It's really a day-to-day bag or a work bag or a travel bag, in my opinion. It's good for housing things that you just want to like. It's kind of one of those on-the-go bags, and I mean Louis Vuitton has an on-the-go that is a tote. It's one of those bags that it's a catch-all. You just throw everything in it and go on about your day. Or if you have, to carry a laptop, books, or something like that, it's something that can house those items while you, go on. So that's the high-level reason of why I don't recommend a tote, because I just feel like you're more limited to wearing it day-to-day, work, or travel. In my opinion, those are the best times to use a tote. The last thing that I go through, one of the last things that I go through when I'm making a purchase is resale value. Now, this does not apply if you plan on never reselling the item, if you plan on never getting rid of the item, or if you really just don't care about resale value. I would say you can maybe skip over this portion. But if it's something that you may be interested in or maybe consider, I always check, what does the item resell for? Resell means that someone bought it at the store and they are trying to get rid of it on the pre-loved market or secondhand market for another price other than what they paid at retail for it. Now, resale can be higher or lower than what you paid from the actual store. Now, the reason why this is important is because if you might want to resell it down the line, you want to see how much money could you get for that item. Is it going to be way less to where maybe you want to consider getting it pre-loved? Or if it's higher, then you definitely want to get it from the actual store. So that way, if you do decide to sell it, you can at least get some of your money back, if not most of your money back, if not all of your money back. Or it just makes more sense to get it from the retailer versus paying the premium to get it pre-loved or off the resale market. Because sometimes there are items that have never been worn that are being resold at a higher price. And we see that a lot with Chanel and Hermes. It's crazy. For me, sometimes if an item is well below what I would pay at the actual store, I will choose to I would consider buying it resale, because I know I'm not really going to get my money back. I do resell my bags, and if I can find a bag and I'm just using bags as an example. If I can find a bag in mint condition that comes with all of the accessories that I would have gotten at the store, there's no defects or, there's nothing wrong with the bag, I will consider getting it from the resale market versus going to the store to get it. Just because I know that if I did resell it, I probably wouldn't get what I pay for it, and I don't mind buying pre-loved. So that's another thing. But again, I have a video where I talk about that. I'll try to link it or do an updated one so you guys can get a good understanding of shopping retail versus resale. But that is like a quick list of things that I go through when I'm considering making my first or making a luxury purchase in general. Okay, now for the suggestions. I have them in different categories: shoes, handbags, and accessories. I'm going to start off with shoes because it is one of those things that is so broad. I really can't give too much on it because it's really going to depend on you as a person and what you prefer and what you like. What I would suggest when it comes to shoes is a nice pair of sneakers is something that can be worn year round. So my most worn luxury sneakers are definitely my Chanel trainers. I literally wear them every day. If not every day, multiple times throughout the week. They are my most worn shoes, hands down. I think it's because of the color. They're white, and the fact that they're just so easy to like match with different items. So they can like go with any and everything. I can even put them on with like a dress or something like that and they still look cute. The other pair of shoes that get a lot of wear are my Gucci, I can't think of the name. It's the ones with the little bumblebee on the side. They are an older pair of shoes. I've had them for a few years. They were extremely popular, I would say maybe like a year and a half ago or so, but they're still another pair of most worn shoes from me. I've definitely gotten my cost per wear is at a good number. It works for me. So a nice pair of sneakers. Givenchy actually has some that are plain and they have the Givenchy logo just on the heel, but you can get it in a very light color. Those are another pair that I love and recommend. In the summertime, or if you're in a climate that doesn't get super cold, a nice pair of sandals I think goes a long way. I prefer mule style sandals, so like slides almost. My favorite ones are my Hermes or Ron sandals. I wear those every day. Every single day when it's warm outside, spring, summer, it doesn't really get too cold here, so sometimes into the winter, the fall, winter season, I can still wear sandals and I wear them. Like, they're my favorite. I feel like I have definitely gotten all of my money's worth out of those shoes. Like, I've bought them twice. So I definitely highly recommend those. Like, with the shoes, it's really just gonna depend on what you wear the most. I love shoes. I collect shoes, so I have like different kinds of shoes, and I don't mind investing in something that I just like. My first pair, which I will say, my first pair of luxury, like high luxury shoes were the Chanel Espadrilles. I wore those shoes like no other. I wore those shoes so much. Cost per wear, check. We got all the money's worth. I would recommend a nice pair of Espadrilles or that loafer-ish style shoe. I know Loro Piano has nice ones if you have more of a contemporary, classic, you know, businessy, business casual, sporty kind of look. Those will work well. So different shoes like that would be great to add into your collection as a first luxury piece. So moving on to accessories. This I can talk about a lot. Honestly, I can really talk about and give so much advice on. So I might end up following this video up with another video with the subcategories because I'm trying not to make this video too long. I just want to give you guys the basics of what you need when you're going shopping for your first luxury piece. So as far as accessories, I would recommend getting something that you know that you're actually going to wear. My top suggestion would be to go to a jeweler, find a jeweler in your area, and picking a piece, whether that be a necklace, a pair of earrings, or a bracelet. I feel like you can get a little bit more for your money versus going to one of the bigger brands like the Cartiers, the Tiffany's, David Yurman's. I suggest going to a jeweler. The other route, of course, that you can take is going to one of those mega brands that we're all used to. David Yurman, Bulgari, Cartier, Tiffany, De Beers. Those are all great jewelry and accessory boutiques that you can go and good quality fine jewelry. Of course, my favorite is Cartier. I love Cartier and Van Cleef and Arpels. Those are sister companies. They're my top-notch favorite. So if we're going to Cartier, my favorite collections are the Love, of course, and the Diamant, I think is how you pronounce it. I feel like those are great collections, especially when you're first starting a, accessory collection. You want to make your first luxury purchase, whether it be in jewelry or accessories or just in general. I feel like those items will last you forever and ever and ever. Like those were passed down to generations. The Cartier pieces are solid gold. We all know the importance and the significance when it comes to purchasing solid gold. The Love collection with the rings and the bracelets is timeless. It's been around forever. You can't really go wrong with it. Now, De Beers actually has My First De Beers whole collection. So when you're getting, your foot wet into that brand, they actually have a full collection of items that you can choose from that are, you know, something that you can get that are considered your first to be purchase. So they've made it easy for you there. I always suggest when it comes to any of these items to go in the stores, try it on, see what you actually like, because you may see something online that you like, and once you see it in person, it's not really what you thought, or it doesn't really compliment you well. Or you may see some things online that you didn't consider at first, and then you see it in person and you're like, okay, no, I really like this. So I, with anything, suggest going into the store and trying it on, or going somewhere to try that item on. Also with the Davy Yerman, I wear my bracelet every single day. I've had this bracelet since like middle school or high school. I want to say maybe high school when I was a freshman, something like that. I've had this bracelet for at least 6 years. At least 6 years, and I've worn it every single day. I've not had any issues. It is the Davy Yerman bracelet with the it has the pearl closure here. They have different ones based on your birthstone, or you can just a solid one. I highly recommend. I have 3 of these bracelets that I kind of interchange or stack together. It is the cable bracelets. I love that collection from Davy Yerman. The earrings, the bracelets, the rings. I even have 2 rings from the collection. Highly recommend. The last category that I have on my list is, of course, handbags. Now, this is a debate that we could talk about and talk about and talk about. It is another breakout topic that we'll go into detail in another video. But I wanted to give you guys some fresh ideas and some fresh suggestions of handbags that I would recommend for your first luxury purchase. So now, when it comes to handbags, you want to make sure that you're getting a bag that is true to that brand's identity. Something that has been around, has made an imprint in the brand, and we all know that bag for that brand, okay? And something that you're gonna get wear out of. So the first bag I have on here is a Saint Laurent Sunset bag. Now I love this bag because it can be worn crossbody shoulder bag, or like as a long shoulder bag, or double strap to be a shorter shoulder bag. I also love that this bag can be versatile. It is small enough or large enough that it can be worn day to day or day to night. You can even wear this bag out to dinner and it not be too big and obnoxious. It can also be worn to the mall or to the grocery store and not being, you know, too much for the environment. It also comes in a few different finishes, leathers, colors, so you can really get the color and the finish that's going to match perfectly with your lifestyle. And that is what I like most about this bag, as the versatility when it comes to color, shape, size, length, versatility, all of that. That's what I love the most about it. The next bag I have on the list is the Fendi Peekaboo Bag. This is another bag that is true to the Fendi brand. It comes in a plethora of colors, a plethora of sizes. It's definitely a bag that you can find the perfect one for you. Now, of course, this style of bag is going to be depending, or, you know, whether or not you get it is because of the style is going to depend on your lifestyle and what you already have in your collection, because this is kind of like a bag that is a little bit more formal-ish. Like, it can definitely be dressed down and casual, but it is not a bag that I would recommend for an individual who is more sporty and their wardrobe is a little bit more relaxed. It is not a bag that I would just recommend for a person like that. Next bag is the Fendi Baguette. Now, this bag is definitely true to the Fendi brand identity. When you see Fendi, you know Baguette. When you see Baguette, you know Fendi. I feel like the one that is the most classic version is the Zucca print. It has been around forever and ever and ever. It is one that they tend to change a bit. I think the most recent change, or know that the most recent change, is the black piping that's around the trim of the bag, which I love. It's what piqued my interest in the bag again. This bag is just it is the Fendi brand. Like, you can't really go wrong with it. I feel like even if you get a vintage version, she's still that girl, and you're still that girl if you get it. So it's kind of like whichever way you decide to go with the bag, whether it's to get the newer version or the vintage version, it's still true to the Fendi brand, and we know this bag as Fendi. So it meets my approval with the first luxury purchase bag. The next one I have on my list is the Louis Vuitton Pachette Matisse. Now, I know I've recommended this bag before. A lot of people recommend this bag, but I just feel like it's true to the brand. It's a style that has been around. This, you know, mini messenger almost style bag is true to Louis Vuitton. It's a classic style bag. Many brands have a bag similar to this, so I feel like it's not a style that is just for the moment. I feel like you can get even more wear out of it if you get the Empreinte or the solid color one, because, or the monogram. I feel like the monogram could work as well because it is, you know, just Louis Vuitton. Like, we know Louis Vuitton. So really, you can't really go wrong with which color, as long as it is a black or the traditional monogram. I think you're going to be good here. The next one I have is a Louis Vuitton Alma BB. It's not anything new. It's a classic bag though. I love the twist that they're doing with it now and making it different colors and adding a thicker strap that is a little bit more fun. I love that about the newer versions of the bag. Of course, there's the classic versions that we've been used to seeing that I do recommend as well. Now, someone made an interesting point about this bag on a recent video. They said that the Balenciaga small hourglass bag has replaced the Louis Vuitton Alma BB, and that is a conversation that we should chat about. I feel like the Balenciaga hourglass has definitely become the it girl, and she's definitely become comparable to the Louis Vuitton Alma BB. Now, will I go as far as saying that she's been replaced by it? I don't really know if I'll say that, because Balenciaga associate said and made a good point that Balenciaga is still trying to like find their signature bag, and they're experimenting with different looks, and they are trying to fine tune what is their go-to style of bag. And I feel like the hourglass might be that girl, which is why I feel like she kind of competed with the Alma BB. I might be. If that becomes Balenciaga's signature bag that lasts for the next 100 years, she will definitely be in close running with the Alma BB. Now, as far as first luxury purchase, when it comes to the Balenciaga bag, it's kind of tricky. I recommend it if it's a bag that you just love and that you know that you will wear, whether or not we've seen it all over Instagram right now. If you feel that way about it, go for it. I suggest it. You can wear it. It's grown on me, and I, you know, have one now that I love. So if you feel like you will wear this bag, whether or not you see it on Instagram or, you know, social media or just out, go for it. If it's a bag that you feel like you might get tired of, you might not want, I would not suggest it as your first luxury purchase. So there's that. Next bag I have on my list is the Louis Vuitton Clooney Mini. Now, this is one that is a little bit different from what I've recommended before. I just like this bag. I feel like this shape of bag is definitely a classic style. That structure that looks like a trapezoid almost, or like a triangle or something like that. To me, those versions of bags are the most classic styles, because we've seen that style across every brand. We've seen that style for years and years and years. It's really not a new style. I also love that this bag has a top handle and a shoulder strap. I'm a sucker for handbags that have a top handle. That's just my vibe. I love carrying a handbag, top handle. I don't know what it is. I can deal without it being crossbody because I prefer a shoulder bag or a top handle. This one happens to have both. I'm just here for it, okay? So it does have a flap over it. I like that the Louis Vuitton is understated on the front of the bag. It's not super obnoxious. It's almost like one of those things where if you know, you know, or if you're paying attention, then you can see it. It also comes in different colors, so you can get the color that is going to match well for you and in your wardrobe. It is a nice size. I've seen it in person. I've tried it on, and I feel like it is a good bag to get as your first one. Now, of course, there's no video without me recommending the classic flaps, and we're going to get into this a little bit more in detail in a separate video that I have coming for you guys, because I feel like this topic of Chanel, when we're talking about first luxury purchase, we could get into some things when we're talking about it. So I'm just going to keep it high level here and recommend a classic flap. Of course, it's the classic flap. It's Chanel. regardless of what we say about it, sometimes she's still that girl when it comes to classic flaps. The classic flaps are still classic. They're still timeless. They're still Chanel. They're still sought after. They're still being bought. Vintage in the new version. My first Chanel was a medium classic flap. It was a vintage one, which is what flows right into the next thing that I was going to mention. Getting a vintage version of the classic flap is also a great option as your first luxury purchase when it comes to Chanel. Now, if you want to go in the boutique and have that experience, I suggest it as well. Even though we've had a lot of talk about Chanel in the recent days, I just feel like it's still a top tier brand. No, not every bag that you get is going to be defective or have some type of faulty craftsmanship, but it's still a brand that I will recommend. It's still a handbag that I would recommend because it's still that girl. I feel like they're great when it comes to cost per wear because they're so versatile. I literally wear mine in so many different ways. Of course, there are a few others I recommend, like the Coco handle. That is my top tier favorite. I love it. Someone also asked me about my comparison of whether or not I would recommend a Coco handle or a Trendy CC. I recommend both. I feel like those bags are just a matter of which one you prefer most, because one's typically caviar, one's typically lambskin, or B, which one you want to get first. For me, the option was B. Which one was I going to get first? Because at some point, I'm going to have both. I love that style bag, and I feel like when it comes to either or, it's really just a matter of which one do you prefer or which one do you want first. Another route that you can take with your first Chanel purchase would be a vanity bag. The vanity style bag has been around forever. Multiple brands have a vanity style bag, so you really can't go wrong with that style of bag. Of course, Chanel has vintage versions and the newer version, as well as the trendy vanity version, which is the one I have and love. They come in different colors. There's different styles. A vanity bag is a good first luxury purchase in my opinion, because it's also one of those bags that is versatile. Well, it depends on which one you get, but I'm going to recommend the Chanel versions first. The Chanel vanity bag is definitely one that I would recommend as a first luxury purchase if you are looking to go for the Chanel route. So we'll get into that a little bit more in detail in an upcoming video. So we'll get into that a little bit more in a upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Guys, that's going to be it for this video. I tried to keep it as short and condensed as I could. Drop a comment down below. Let me know, what was your first luxury purchase? Are you making your first luxury purchase, and what are you thinking about doing or purchasing? Like, let's chat about it down in the comments. Keep it cute though. Subscribe, hit the notification bell to get a notification when I post again, and I will see you in the next video.